Hey Jubei! So I'm off and I'm having a little work walk, as it were. You know, a little break by the river. Let me show you the river. Those are some trees. They're inconveniently obscuring the river. There's the river. Behold, in all its rivery glory. So yeah, last night I watched Run All Night, and I gotta say, pretty impressive. It's another one of those Liam Neeson movies. They're a dime a dozen right now, where he's just playing an aged action star, just action guy. Just yeah, it's that's the vehicle that he seems to be running on since Taken, and you know, they're 10 a penny. But this one was surprisingly impressive. You know how every now and then, like, one actor will produce a diamond in the rough, and look, Liam Neeson is a diamond, but he can do better than this genre he's got himself into. This is like, you know what, if he wants to keep doing it, he can. This is good. This was an impressive film. Basically, the premise of it is, Liam Neeson and Ed Harris are two sort of head honchos within the Irish mob in New York. Ed Harris is the head of it. Liam Neeson has been his hitman, coming up through it. Now Liam Neeson is like a sort of, you know, washed up, degenerate, alcoholic, chain smoker guy, just hangs around the pub, lives in a shit apartment. They both have, it's really the story of these two guys and their sons. Liam Neeson's son wants nothing to do with him. He's like, no, fuck this guy, I hate him, he killed people for a living, and he abandoned the family. I don't want to see him. And he's a legitimate dude. He helps out of the boxing ring, runs a limousine business, has a family man, very family oriented. Ed Harris's son, on the other hand, is just a low life. It's just he's looking to make some moves, moving heroin into New York with the Albanian gangs. He's just junkie, cunt, douchebag. Yeah, that guy. All right, and then through an altercation, after Liam Neeson's son, played by Joel Kinnaman, our new RoboCop for that franchise that may or may not be, probably won't. Yeah. So what happens is, so Liam Neeson's son, Joel Kinnaman, finds witnesses Ed Harris's son murdering a dude, and then before Ed Harris's son can murder Liam Neeson's son, Joel Kinnaman, Liam Neeson kills him, because that's what happens when you threaten Liam Neeson's family. Come on now, how is this taking so long for some people to get? So yeah, and then it's Run All Night. Liam Neeson alerts Ed Harris, and he's like, listen dude, I had to kill your son. It was your son or my son. I made a choice. Ed Harris is suddenly just going, dude, that ain't cool. We're at war now. That's it. Okay? And it's some really cool moments between them. Again, it's like, Joel Kinnaman hates his dad, but he needs his dad, because without him and without his help and his expertise, he's not going to make it. There's, like, corrupt cops are after him because he's framed for the murder of 2 cops. Obviously the mob is after him, the Irish mob's after him because Ed Harris said so, and that's the bottom line. And it's awesome. He has to put his family into hiding, and then there's some really cool action scenes. And Common's in it. Common's one of the best parts. He shows up and he's like a mad mix between Boba Fett and the Terminator. He plays this, he shows up in a trench coat, and he's like got this weird sort of eyeglass thing, like the Google Glass, that he just puts on his glasses, and he can see night vision all of a sudden. His gun's got a laser sight on him at all times. It's just a wee handgun, nothing special. And it's pretty cool. There's one scene which is like, are they trying to do Heat? Are they trying to do the Heat scene? Which is where Ed Harris and Liam Neeson, in the middle of the movie, they just sit down at this fancy restaurant and have a scotch, and they're just like, Liam Neeson's like, listen, you can take me now and leave my son out of it. And Ed Harris is like, no, I'm going to take your son. That's it. It really evoked Heat. It was like, but it wasn't quite as impressive as Heat. Oh well, nonetheless. But yeah, surprisingly good movie, man. The only thing I would take away is that every now and then, just to establish that it is in New York, they do these big swooping CGI shots. They're not even real proper panoramic shots, they're just like big CGIs, like here's in New York, and then just zooms out of the map and zooms back in at a different part, because that's New York, because that's, yes, you get it, they're in New York. Yeah, no need for it. Other than that, it's great. It kind of feels like it came out a couple of months too late. in that it should have been out at Christmas, and it's set at Christmas, but not in the Shane Black way. It's just like, maybe this should have come out at Christmas. This would have been a really good sort of Christmas action thriller. You know the way Jack Reacher was? No, bad example, that wasn't set at Christmas. Anyway, excellent show. I was impressed. I would watch again. It surprised me in more ways than I thought it would. Joel Kinnaman is a bit of a douche in it, but you can kind of see where he's coming from. He's a strong actor. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight since RoboCop. So maybe he knows. Maybe he just knows, and that's sad. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Run All Night, which surprisingly impressed me. Have you watched it yet? Did you like it? Please let me know. And if you like this video, please click like, subscribe, view, share, and all the usual jazz. And I'll see you when I see you, YouTube.